Okay, guys, I have to talk about this. Seriously, I can't keep it contained anymore. It's driving me crazy. So, my mom died. You guys know that. And then when I got home, before I even got out of my car, while I was still in the parking lot, my roommate came and gave me my 30-day notice because her sister's moving in. Okay, fine. I'll figure that out. And then, um, favorite cousin killed himself. Now, this is extra tragic because about 5 years ago, his son, my little cousin, killed himself when he was 16. So, I'm fucking pissed, honestly. Today was his funeral. I didn't go, not because I'm mad at him, just because I didn't go. So, there's that. And then after that, I got fired. I lost my friggin' job. Can you believe that? That's like a series of unfortunate events. The reason I got fired, and this is what I want to talk about. The reason I got fired was, hold on, let me give you the exact verbiage. So the exact verbiage is text messages from me on February 3rd to food and beverage managers, company phone, violations per employee handbook and work rules. Number 14, profanity, vulgar, abusive language, lack of courtesy, gripping, vicious, profane, or malicious statements concerning another employee, owner, guest, customer, or its facilities. And number 6, willful misconduct, willful neglect, disregard, or violation of any policy, procedure, or rule of conduct established within your department. Due to continuous history of policy violations in the past 6 months, I will be separated from the company. So that's why I was fired. So yeah, I kind of cussed at my boss via text message. But in my defense, there was a reason. Of course, there was a reason. Here's the situation. You guys tell me. Because I'm not sorry. I don't regret it. I would do it again. And that's that. So when I found out that my mom was on her way to the hospital, I notified my supervisor immediately. I got a text from my supervisor and from my boss. And, they told me, sorry to hear that. We'll be praying for you. Let us know what's going on, what you're going to do. Okay, no problem. Later on that night, I got another phone call from my sister. She said, you need to come home. Mom's in the ICU, intubated, sedated, and COVID positive, and it's not looking so good. So I made a plan, and I text messaged my supervisor and my boss and told them that my son, my uncle, and I were leaving for Montana at 6 o'clock in the morning. So we're en route to Montana, and by 8 o'clock in the morning, you guys, I knew in my heart that this was it, that I was going to lose my mom. She was not going to make it through. I knew. I don't know if God told me, I don't know what, but I knew. So that day, on the 3rd, I was distraught. I was beside myself. I've never cried so hard in my life, in my whole life. My eyes were swollen, almost shut. I couldn't stop. I was hubbubbing like a little kid, like it was tragic. So around noon, now mind you, I said I was leaving at 6 o'clock in the morning. Around noon, my manager calls me, and the first thing he says to me, now I can barely answer the phone. I'm crying so hard. And the first thing he says to me is, so I answer the phone, and the first thing he says to me is, you can't just leave. You're not allowed to just take off. I'm sorry, what? Yeah, you can't just leave. You don't have any PTO, and you don't qualify for FMLA. And I'm like, this is a family medical emergency. How do I not qualify for FMLA? And he said, because we never changed your status from extra board in the computer. So you're just extra board. Oh, okay. And so if you want to request time off, then you can do that. But here's what you need to do. He said, you need to send me a text message stating that you understand that you do not have PTO or FMLA. You need to give me the name of the hospital that your mom is in and what city it's located in and a phone number. And then you can request time off, personal time off, and then you need to wait for a response on approval or denial before you take off and go anywhere. Other than that, we've got your shift covered for today, and that's it. That's what you have permission to be missing or whatever. He made sure that I understood. Make sure you send me that text message. He told me my job would be in jeopardy if if, I didn't get this figured out, and he would hate to see me get fired, blah, blah, blah. Now, I was not in a normal frame of mind. I am not a person. I don't yell at people. I don't cuss at people. I'm very professional. I'm not like a badass, I don't misbehave. So anyways, I was really very angry, or it came out as anger. I was really just disgusted and very upset that anybody would give anybody else in the world a hard time when they're trying to go to their dying mother. I was just really, really upset. And it all came out as anger. So I sent him the text message that with the information he requested, and I probably said the F word a lot. And well, here, I'll read you the text. So I said, I understand that I do not have PTO, nor do I qualify for FMLA. Somehow having to stay out of work because of effing COVID, even though I've never had it and it has effed me financially over and over. My employment status is extra board because I've been honest about exposure like the company requested. So yeah, I understand. My mom's name. She's in the effing ICU of this hospital, and the phone number. With COVID, she's got about a 6% chance of survival, and she's gonna effing die alone whether or not I go. But now if I decide to go and support my brother and sister, I risk my job. So I'm requesting a few days off to grieve the inevitable loss of my effing mother at home alone, because that's what the F I deserve for being honest and suffering financial loss, but also now knowing that my honesty has earned me extra board status and therefore inability to grieve with my family. So please, can I have a day or two to do alone before returning to my rewarding job? Thank you for your support and for constantly making me feel like you guys think I'm full of shit and don't trust me at all. Always, I appreciate that too, especially right now. So yeah. So maybe I wouldn't do it exactly the same. But anyway, so he didn't text me, and then a few hours later, I started feeling dumb and bad, and I couldn't believe that I'd done that. So I texted him and I told him that I was sorry for cussing at him and that I was upset at the situation, not specifically at him, and just told him I was sorry for disrespecting him personally because he didn't deserve that. So then he texted me and said, well, I had to share that text, or I had to forward that text. And that sent me on an additional rampage of the text message version of verbal diarrhea. So I then proceeded to tell him that I didn't care who shared it with, that I would share it on the internet, that I didn't really give a shit. And then just feeling sorry for myself, thought maybe if I explained my situation to him, he might understand better. So I kind of went off on another tangent and told him that, my mom was dying and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And my brother was also sick and in the same hospital, and, that I was freaking out and that I just didn't understand why they were coming at me crazy in a time like this when they know I needed them. It's my mom, it's my mom. Hello, the word mom means nothing nowadays, or what? It's my mom. And that I didn't really care if I lost my job or not, that I loved my job and I didn't want to lose it, but at the same time, to be put in a situation where I have to choose between my mom and my job, I choose mom every time. So a few hours after that, I'm well on my way to Montana by now. He called and told me to go ahead and take the week off and just let them know what's going on and keep them in the loop, and that they'd keep me in their thoughts and prayers and blah, blah, blah. Dude, you couldn't have done that from the jump. So I was just like, okay, thank you, whatever. So then when I got back from Montana, I had to get tested. And then once I tested negative, I got to go back to work. Now, the day I went back to work, he called me personally to make sure that I was coming back to work. And it was over Valentine's Day weekend. So I worked through Valentine's Day weekend because we were busy AF. And then they fired me after we got through the busy weekend, after they didn't need me, which I think is pretty fucked up. So yeah, so then the more I think about it, like, just the more annoyed I am with the entire situation and the more frustrated I am with the entire situation, and the more I don't ever want anybody else to have to experience that shit. And just because, especially ultimately, they gave me the time off really without problem, why wouldn't you just start the conversation with that? Sure, tell me I have no PTO. Sure, tell me I don't qualify for FMLA, but that I can take a week off. Don't be a dick about it. Don't, like, why with the added, I was already devastated. I'm telling you, if you could have been on the phone with me, it took a cold heart to give me a hard time because I was hysterical. I can't even explain to you that I couldn't say one word. I was crying so hard. I couldn't stop crying. So I decided to draft an email. And that's what I did. I wrote an email, a very, very long email. Very professional, very well worded, of course. I didn't cuss or anything crazy like that. That's not in my character. And I sent it to our owner and our CEO. So we'll see how that goes. Because I just don't think it's right. I don't think that they should give people a hard time like that. I think that there are some universal things that people understand. And there's just magic words is what I call them. Those are magic words. If anybody says to you, my mom or my kid, and it's a dire situation, basically worldwide, the universe across, we all understand what that means. We all understand that no matter what, who, what, when, where, why, and how, that is what matters. Nothing else matters more than that at that time. Your mom, I'm not trying to get my job back. When I was fired, I didn't fight, I didn't argue. I knew that what I had done was inappropriate and unacceptable, and I accept that. And I'm not even trying to defend what I did. I know that what I did was very unprofessional and was wrong. I know that. However, I can't help but say there's a reason why I behaved that way, because I was already in the most tragic time of my life, and you're going to compound that tragedy by telling me that I can't go. First of all, at what point did you get comfortable? At what point did you think you own me or control me enough to feel comfortable telling anybody that they can't go somewhere, that they're not allowed to go somewhere? That's not a thing. You're not my dad. So I just wanted to make sure that the bosses of my bosses were aware of the situation and maybe hopefully prevent something like that from happening in the future, because I just don't think it's right. I think that there's a time and a place for everything, and I think that when it comes to your mom, your kids, and I mean, your dad, your whole family really, but my mom and my kid, those are just universal words that the whole world understands and respects and behaves accordingly. I would fund an enemy to go to their child if the situation was dire. You know what I'm saying? That's just how people operate, how humans operate. And I think that humans should behave like humans regardless of their executive position, period.